All right, George, ready to head to the voicemails
That's
of
right.
the people?
Let's
Go,
roll
I'm so excited
the
about
tape.
this.
I have not heard any of these voicemails. Have you?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, let's hear the first one. And I think it's from Peter.
Peter, here's our 2 cents. Let's go.
Hey, George. Hey, Rachel. This is Peter from Long Island, age 30, baby step 7. I wanted to propose to my girlfriend of 2.5 years shortly, but recently, after turning 30, I was brought into my family's finances. I knew my father was wealthy. I did not realize how wealthy. He has about $11 million in mutual funds and stocks, and conservatively another 6.5 in paid for real estate with no mortgages that produce rental income. So here's the kicker. He told me recently that he would not leave me in the will and I would not get anything if I do not get my girlfriend to agree to a prenup. And I have not talked to her about it yet. But I know from discussions that have come up here and there over the course of dating her that she'd probably be a hard no. So I was wondering, it's a little bit of an odd situation because I don't want to tell my dad how he should leave money because it's not mine, it's his. And I also think that having that conversation can be a bit awkward. So I was hoping for some guidance. What would you do if you guys were me?
Dang.
Glad we beeped out that number because all the ladies going to be calling Peter up.
Peter.
Be like, I'll sign the prenup, Peter.
We're here.
I don't care what she does.
Okay. Well, he first asked, what would you do if you were me? Well, he obviously loves his girlfriend. He's thinking about proposing. I would just be very honest with her and be like, all right.
And start with, hey, I know this is weird.
And we'll just say, like, here's the deal. Like, oh my God, I just found this out. And like, this is my dad's stance. I don't know what to do. Like, I need to hear all your thoughts. Let's process this together. Like, make it like just a conversation. Just be honest with it.
Yeah.
Is what I would do going forward.
Well,
Because
I think his spirit is very different than the normal one we get around prenups. Because we get this question a lot. Should I get a prenup? Normally, it's from dudes that are broke who are like, she's going to take me to the cleaners. I got to get a prenup. I'm like, bro, you don't have to be worried.
Yeah,
okay?
You're fine.
But this is a very different situation. We say when there's a big discrepancy in wealth, which in this case, I would say 18 million is a big discrepancy.
Yes.
Unless she also has 18 million.
Right.
But I would say this is a wise thing to do in a case like this.
Yeah.
But the harder part he wants to know is, how do I address this? How do I have the conversation?
That's
Because
right.
she might say, no, I'm not signing it. Now he's got a real rock and hard place. Do I propose, get married, and basically say goodbye to this massive inheritance and wealth for love? I think it's like a Hallmark movie.
Right? That would
Love
be the
conquers
answer.
all.
Love conquers all. At the end of the day, if you love her, you guys will do great on your own. Like, I mean, I wouldn't not marry somebody because they didn't sign a prenup. Does that make sense? I don't know. And especially if it's the dad's money. So if I were her, like if I was engaged to Winston and it was all of his money and he's like, I want you to sign a prenup, I think that's more hard to reconcile versus like my dad has money and wants, like, to me, like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's not even your money.
It's less personal.
It's something your dad wants. Sure, that's your dad's money. Does that make sense? Like eventually it will become his. But in my head, that feels like more of a separation versus if it's like, oh, as a person, I don't trust you. A prenup can feel like I don't trust you. And
it's saying if and when things go south, it's got a very kind of negative tone.
And again, it's not him asking for the prenup. It's kind of his dad.
Yeah.
So to me,
It's a
that
layer
feels
removed.
like, I don't know. And if I'm the dad, there is a level that I'm like, I could get that. Like if you're $18 million, that's a lot of money.
He's worked really hard to amass this level of wealth.
Yeah, but then you also want to hope that you like trust your kids and who they're picking and marrying in their lives. I think where it gets really sticky is, we've talked to family businesses and they have like family stock.
Oh, yeah.
And if you, somehow divorce and the family stock is split between you two, now the ex-husband or the ex-wife has say within the company of voting rights. Like that gets real messy. So that I would be like, that's fair to have a document that says, if something happens, this or that.
And the purpose when we talk about prenups, it's less about a distrust of the person you're going to marry and more avoiding the crazy that's within the greater family.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
That's the situations we tend to see. It's not one person against another.
And you know what? That's probably TMI. But like, okay, so no one in the Ramseys has signed a prenup. My husband didn't. My sister's husband didn't. My brother's wife did not. So like, there's no prenups. But once I were just having this conversation, because I read this book recently about passing stuff down to your kids and like, it's like this whole thing. And I was like, and I had never thought about it. I'm surprised the Ramseys, we haven't said this out loud because we talk about everything when it comes to death and estate planning and everything. But I am like, oh my gosh, what if, and we won't say divorce, we'll just say death. But like, right, like what if one of us Ramseys die?
Oh.
And then like Winston gets remarried and she has kids. You know what I mean? Like where does all of that start to happen and break down? Like it does kind of get funny and weird. So yeah, I don't know. So that's why we probably need an estate meeting with our families
It's
to
time.
have these questions answered.
It's time for the meeting.
But I do think that's why planning ahead, whether it's estate planning, you know, a prenup in a big, like, extreme situation, all of that, I think I do see as understandable. I really do. But again, if it's some guy and he's like, I got a Chevy that's 1968 and I don't want you to have my Chevy car, I'd be like, your priorities are screwed, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can
sense?
tell the tone and spirit of it. And I
Yeah.
think Peter, he's going to approach this with a lot of, you know, tender-hearted care and empathy and
Yes.
going, hey.
I don't know.
But
Okay,
here's the
so
deal.
do you think it's wrong to have her sign it?
I don't think it's wrong to have
Yeah.
her sign it in this case. Here's the thing that you have to be okay with. You have to make peace with, if she's the one, we're going to say goodbye to this and create our own wealth, which he said baby step 7. If you don't know, that means Peter's completely debt-free, including his
Yeah.
house. He has no mortgage payment. So he's already done an incredible job at 30, which tells me Peter's going to build his own wealth. And so he really doesn't need this money.
Yep.
And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be reliant and dependent on an inheritance. You want it to be this beautiful thing you can kind of pass on generationally.
That's right. Totally. Yep.
So either way, he's going to be okay.
That's right.
But
Great
man, keep us
question,
posted.
though.
Because if she
Man.
says no and you still marry her, I'm like, wow, what a boss.
What a prince. Or a king.
King.
A king, as
King.
they would say in the Gen Z
We're
world.
so out of touch.
What a king. All right, let's do a Casey, shall we? Casey's question.
See what Casey has to say.
My husband and I are thinking about starting a family towards the end of this year. And I have been deciding about staying home, whether to keep working, what that'll look like. And I pretty much know that I'm going to stay home. Is it wrong for me to take my full maternity leave knowing good and well that I'm probably not coming back at all? I don't know. We've just been talking about it and we're curious morally, is that okay? Or, if I know that I'm not going to be coming back to this company, do I still take that maternity leave? I don't know. So any advice y'all have, maybe, what would y'all do? It is a benefit that I have as an employee, but then again, I kind of know I don't want to come back. So let me know what you think.
It's a
Rachel,
great question.
As a man, let me start. If I was having a baby, she asked, what would I do if I was in her shoes?
Yeah, what would you do, George?
I can tell you what we've done, and I can tell you what we do at Ramsey, because I think that helps.
Okay, we talk about that. I want to know what would you say to that, though?
There's nothing morally wrong with taking maternity leave and not coming back.
I agree.
You're not a bad person.
Yeah.
And by the way, they can kind of see this coming. Like, there's a high chance that when women go on maternity leave, they might not come back.
Yes, it's a risk
And
the
so-
employer takes,
Yes.
right? In that sense, yeah.
And so, no, you're not a bad person. They're
Yeah.
not going to take money back away from you if you don't come back. But what you do need to do is do some homework and talk to your employer, talk to HR, and actually find out what happens in these situations and walk them through the scenarios. Hey, what happens if this happens? What
That's a
happens if
great
I don't
point.
come back? And I can tell you, when my wife went on maternity leave, they say, hey, we're going to pay you for the maternity leave.
At Ramsey,
regardless.
regardless if you're coming back or not.
So there's not this weird timing thing of
Yeah, but because there was years, though, where women would take maternity leave and they're like, and they knew they were Casey, that was like, I'm probably not coming back, but I'm going to just say, I'm not sure. They take it, and then a week before, they're like, yeah, I'm not coming back. Which, again, is totally fair. And the employer, it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, you just find
the big
someone
thing with
new.
the employer
and,
is
it's just
they need to-
refilling that
they need to
position.
backfill that position.
So I think as the employer's standpoint, at least at Ramsey, it was like, oh, man, I would rather them just tell us so that we can go ahead and work on getting the backfill going, right, 3 months before. But what people, they don't want to do that because if you say it, you don't get the full benefit. It's like you're quitting, basically. At Ramsey, it was like, okay, regardless or not, you're getting paid it. So just let us know because we can start, refilling the position. But not all companies do that. Some companies, you got to wait to the very end to tell them. But again, I think that's a benefit.
And
you're
that's a
having
risk
baby.
they take if that's their policy.
That's right. And maybe there is 2% of you that's like, maybe I will. I don't know, right?
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with taking
No.
full advantage of a policy that they put in place.
Yes, that's
you
right.
didn't make this up, and you're following their rules. And unless the rules stipulate when you need to say if you're coming back or not.
That's a good point, though. Talk to your
do
employer
you.
and what the specific rules are for that company. Yep, that's a good one, though.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
Casey. That's
Casey.
exciting. And,
Yes.
And my wife came back to work for months and
That's
then
right.
decided to stay home.
I know, and now
it's a
she's so
different
happy.
situation.
I
But
was
she loves it.
Talking to her last week.
No regrets, Casey. It's going to be awesome.
So great. All right, next is Mel.
I'll tell you a quick story about a money fail I had. So when I was a baby, my parents purchased a couple of bonds for me. I think they were worth, at the beginning, $500 each. Now I was at the time 23, and my parents gave them to me to go ahead and cash in. Well, they live in Missouri. I live in Chicago now. And I tried to cash them in at a bank in Chicago, and they said, no, you can only cash them in at your home bank, which is still in Missouri for me. So I was like, shoot, I guess I have to bring the bonds back to Missouri. And I never usually carry cash. But before I went back to Missouri, I was visiting my boyfriend in Dallas, Texas. And I got to the airport to go from Dallas, Texas back to Missouri. And in the airport, I got pickpocketed and my bonds were unfortunately stolen. Now, these people cannot cash them in because they're my bonds to my name, but that is also hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I just lost simply because it was the one time I was carrying them around, which I never normally would do. So that's kind of an unfortunate story. Not the end of the world, but it really stung for me.
Oof.
Ouch.
It doesn't sound like there's a lot to do at this point.
No, losing money is terrible.
Well, it's like losing your Bitcoin encrypted key. Have you heard about this? People have lost millions.
Wait, what?
So with Bitcoin or any crypto, you have to have this crazy long key that is entered manually or stored somewhere. And if you lose that, then you don't own it's stuck with that key.
Oh, no.
And so there's been several stories of people who have lost that long, chain of
Gosh, I would
numbers and
copy and
letters.
paste that into the notes on my phone,
That could get hacked. Very scary. But that's the modern day version of this. But
yes.
goodness, that stinks. I mean, other than reporting, to local authorities,
Yeah,
talking
that's
to
what
the
I would
home
probably
bank
do.
and saying, hey, is there any record of this? Can they reissue the bond? Is it just in that piece of paper and
Right.
that's it?
Surely there's other paper trails that you could.
Yeah, but I would at least
back.
try. I would make an effort, talk to the home bank, see what they can do. If they say, hey, sorry, you're out of luck, then this is, I'd get one of those internal fanny packs you wear, in your pants. Have you seen those?
Yes.
I wore one of those in Europe because there was a
I
big
gonna say
fear of
people,
pickpocketing.
yes, I know. I was going to say people wear that in Europe
And I'm an
a
easy
lot.
target.
Yeah, you are. They see you, they think cash. For sure,
They
that
think
guy's
this
got cash.
guy's got money.
He's got something
Little do
in
they
his pocket.
know.
Oh my gosh. All
But
right.
That's a sad one.
That is a
Thanks for
sad
sharing,
one.
Mel.
Okay, let's go to Mark.
My net worth is $1.9 million. That includes the house, retirement accounts, things like that. So yeah, $1.9 million. But I guess my money story / fail is that I kind of gave into the whole Instagram life, buying expensive things, watches, cars, things like that. So even though the net worth is pretty high, I am in lot amount of debt. It's about $125,000. So trying to my way, follow the baby steps, things like that. Since a majority of the net worth, is tied up in investments, housing, things like that.
Mark, $125,000 in debt. And just
wild.
stuff.
Just stuff.
Just stuff.
Watches, cars. Now, the question I would follow up with if we were on the show with Mark on the Ramsey show is, well, what's the car worth? What do you owe on it? What kind of investments do you have? Or any of them non-retirement? So I would start looking into
and
things
what
that
other
we could sell.
expensive things do you have? Watches, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because you could kind of reverse some of those. You're not going to get what you paid for it.
Right. It's not like a vacation where you can't, there's nothing else you can do, right? But if it's actual items, get rid of that stuff all day.
And I would
Sell
think
it.
he has a great income. If he has a $1.9 million net worth that he's amassed, hopefully he makes, has a six-figure income where he can knock this out in 2 years.
Well, and what's hard is the budget is what is really going to be the key here for him. I mean, honestly, planning out, living on nothing. But the hard thing is reversing that, right? Going from the Instagram lifestyle of just charging everything, getting what you want when you want it. Oh, that's cool. Yes, yes. Saying yes all the time to having to say no, no, no. Like your pain has to be so great that no is so much better than the yeses you were doing that were creating the pain, right? So there is this like total mindset shift, and that's hard for a lot of people. Not everyone can do that. And so it would be a challenge for him, I think. But doing the budget, Every Dollar is our budgeting app. It's fantastic. If you've not created a budget, you guys, do it.
Well, it's kind of the cure for this lifestyle creep where you make more and you spend more.
Yes.
Because when you're broke, it's hard to like outpace yourself. But then you start making money. You start to do pretty well. You get comfortable. It's easier to fall back into those habits. So, Mark, get on Every Dollar. You can go to everydollar.com/smartmoney. And we've got a special page set up there for our listeners. And I've really found that's the key. Because the budget will tell you the truth. It'll tell you the reality. Hey, Mark, you made $6,000 this month. Don't spend $7,000.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so you can
and here's the boundary.
have the line at them.
Yeah, and say no. I mean, like when those impulses come up, you have to say no. And it's
not a no to forever, and it's not a no to nice stuff. It's just you need to save up and pay cash for that watch and make it a reasonable part of your world or that car.
But to get out of this debt, there'll be a lot of no's.
Oof.
But you can do this, Mark. Tough. Sell the watches.
Sell it. Sell the horse, sell the watch, sell the car.
Sell it all. All right. We got Marcus. Marcus is up next.
Basically, I'm into flipping sneakers and storage lockers and trading cards, and I came across a famous rapper's old items. A lot of them were from music videos. I had a BET award, and a lot of other stuff. And because I'm a big fan of him and I'm from his city, I chose to return the items. Well, shortly after, a lot of people who found out I had them offered me thousands, like tens of thousands of dollars for a lot of these items. And I don't know. I'm trying to think if I did the right thing. I'm kind of kicking myself. So.
Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I would say if he bought the items from some other third party.
He acquired them through legal means.
Yeah. And he bought them. And then the rapper was like, oh, those are mine. I want them back. I think I would be like, I'm happy to give you back, but I'm out. I will sell them for what I bought them for because I don't want to just be out money because you somehow let go of these items at some point in your life, right?
Clearly, he has not been paying the storage locker fee or whatever it is.
Oh, is that okay? That was from the storage. Okay.
Yeah, if he's saying he acquired the storage locker,
that's right.
All the stuff, usually that's, hey, people didn't pay.
Okay,
and the storage
but if you
people,
didn't pay, how much do you pay for a storage locker, you think?
I mean, if you've seen the Storage Wars.
I've not.
It's a pretty wild show.
I bet so.
They just auction off people's storage units.
But like how much did that guy have to buy the storage unit for, right? Because if it's a few $100, I feel bad for him.
Well, if I'm the rapper.
But if I bought that thing for $10,000 and then he just wants the stuff, I think I'd be like, I'm out $10,000, dude. If you want to pay me $10,000, I'll give you everything back.
Well, he regrets the money he could have made if he had just sold it.
I wouldn't regret that.
But I think he also would have felt bad about that. And he would have had a lot of guilt.
I wouldn't like that. I would feel terrible. I would.
So I think it's pretty cool that you got to return the stuff to the rapper who
Who's
you love.
Who's the rapper? 50
I want to know.
Cent?
I'm trying to think of what rapper went broke enough that they couldn't pay the storage unit fee. Hold on.
I'm going back to like the 90s.
Think about this. Storage unit, G unit, 50 Cent.
Oh, that's it. For
Case
sure.
closed. No. Court of law. This is over.
Who did Gangster's Paradise?
LL Cool J? LL Cool J?
Coolio's in my spirit right now.
I want to know what that first rapper you mentioned was.
I just feel like it's Coolio's. I don't know.
My heart of hearts, this is my conspiracy theorist that comes out once a year. It's Tupac and he's still alive.
Great one, but he can't have a paper trail.
Maybe that's why he never went back for the locker.
We've got to call Marcus back. And be like, Marcus, did you find Tupac?
I will find out who this rapper was and I will report back.
Oh, mine's
who's your favorite rapper?
Coolio.
That's your favorite rapper?
No, it's not my favorite. It's just whose storage unit I think it is. Whose do you think it is?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
Really? Go.
Well, now we need to find out who has a BET award out of the rappers.
That's right.
We can find the
We can Google
some
that.
Crumbs and clues here.
Just leave it to us. We're like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Just solving mysteries one at a time.
I only can name like probably 6 rappers off the top of my head right now.
Oh my gosh. That's good. Maybe Marcus will report back.
Yeah, but I wouldn't lose sleep over it, Marcus. There's more money to be made. You're 20 years old. You seem to be very knowledgeable on flipping. You'll find thousands more soon.
Yep.